10 years ago, when I went as an exchange student, I brought a debit card from Korea, a country famous for its efficient financial system that only charged the 1% fee on international transactions. But I refused to pay even that 1%. Why should I pay a 1% fee just because I'm abroad when global finance now moves completely electronically? I went to talk to US Bank, a bank with a branch on campus, and they told me that to send a considerable amount of money from Korea to the United States, I would have to use an old SWIFT system that cost several tens of dollars and could take a week. Since it was my first experience abroad, I couldn't easily accept this injustice. I went around Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Credit Union, and others looking for a bank that would offer a different solution. I found no answer. I searched Google for the smartest way to make international transfers. I found information on Reddit. If you use Bitcoin, you can transfer money at the speed of light without borders. Bitcoin? What's that? Blockchain, decentralization, censorship resistance. What's funny is that to avoid the old SWIFT system that takes a week, it took me more than a week to research Bitcoin. Although the theory made sense and I understood it, I had doubts about whether it would work in practice. So I decided to try sending a small amount. I put money in a Korean wallet, bought Bitcoin, and sent it to a P2P exchange platform. Back then, Coinbase wasn't well known yet and didn't require a US social security number. Then I negotiated with someone on the P2P platform, and shortly after, the money appeared in my Wells Fargo account. All of this happened in just 30 minutes. It was amazing. After another week of reflection, I bought Bitcoin with all the money I had at the time. Suddenly, I became someone who possessed nothing but a virtual currency called Bitcoin. At that time, I had no knowledge about economics and finance and bought Bitcoin solely based on the technology as a programmer. I thought, if there's a mathematically and technologically perfect currency in this world, it should be Bitcoin. I knew nothing about Keynesian economics, the Austrian school, inflation, or monetary theory, although I had heard about New Deal policies. But that didn't stop me. Technology alone was sufficient reason to buy Bitcoin. Just as it's obvious that Homo sapiens are the only organisms that have been naturally selected and dominate the earth. If all currencies were organisms, it seemed obvious that Bitcoin would be the naturally selected currency and that the others would be surpassed and eliminated by Bitcoin. If extraterrestrials had observed Homo sapiens discovering fire in nature, they would have said that this species was the future of life. By discovering Bitcoin in the country with the most money, the richest country in the world, the United States, I became convinced it was the future of money. After returning from my exchange in the United States, I only had 1 week left before graduating and becoming a completely independent adult. But I felt no fear, even though I always worried about the future of my startup. While lying in my small room, ironically, I wasn't worried at all about my future if the startup failed, because at that time I still had Bitcoin. If I bet everything on my venture and lose it all, and at 40 years old, I've never had a steady job and have nowhere to go, if I use this Bitcoin, it won't be difficult to at least earn my bread. After all, I invested in the future of money, right? Do you want more content like this? Firstly, just by watching my videos until the end, you help me a lot. That way, TikTok shows them to more people. Next, join my Telegram group, Fans de Julian, where I share my new videos first. Lastly, if you really want to support me, you can subscribe here on TikTok for just $10. Every little bit of support adds up and helps me keep creating content like this. Thanks so much. That's all for now, baby Julian.